Hey team, and welcome. I'm your host, Carrie, creator of Mother Life, your destination for all things real talk and parenting. This is the IRL group chat, where we talk about the wild balancing act of pursuing careers and passions while also doing our best to show up for our kids. Join me every week as I sit down with some badass parents in my closet and we talk about their careers, kids, and relationships and all of the weird shit that comes up when you're trying to balance the seemingly impossible. Hello, my mothers, or should I call you motherfuckers? Hey, everybody. It is episode 60 and our second ever solo pod. And so as you can imagine, it's going to be kind of a mess because I'm talking to my wall of shoes. Nobody is in the closet with me today. A lot to reflect on, a lot to talk about. I feel like I've been a little MIA on the Instagram stories, which is normally where I like to live because I'm just processing a lot. So I'm going to go through a couple of my own thoughts and I'm going to respond to some listener prompts / questions, and we're going to go from there. First of all, I want to open this week's episode by saying I'm sorry. I am sorry to all of my friends and family who have kids who are older than mine when I just couldn't ever understand why your shit seemed so much easier than my shit and yet you still couldn't make time for me when I felt like I needed you. And I'm saying sorry because as my kids get older and as I enter different stages, I do appreciate now, I think more than ever before, how when you are in your stage of life and when you are in your chapter of parenting, it is in many respects the hardest thing you will have experienced. Now, I know that this isn't true of everybody and some people skate through certain stages and some people don't, but I now feel like my eyes have been opened to how things can get hard in different ways. So I just want to say I'm sorry. Even if I never gave you shit for it, I was internally. I was absolutely giving you shit. So I'm sorry. And on that note, when I reflect on, the beginning of a new school year, we've got fresh school supplies, we have autumn leaves starting to come in. Maybe if you're pumpkin spice inclined, you're ordering something. I still can't get behind it, but I want to be that person. Maybe you've busted out a sweata because it's sweata weatha. Whatever it is, it's a new chapter. And when I look around in my peer group of people who had kids around the same time as me, and maybe they've gone on to have a second similar to me, I look around, everybody's looking pretty fucking haggard and tired and pissed off at their partners. There's a lot going on. And I think there was a little bit of a honeymoon period in terms of how it was possible to do it all and do all the things. And then some of us entered big kid school, elementary school, baby. We just started our son in what's called TK in California. It's like the year before kindergarten at our local elementary school. And man, has the transition been hard for moi. And I know that sounds crazy because it should be about the kids. And I think it has been hard for him and he's figuring it out and he broadly is enjoying the experience. But I don't think I appreciated how much of a toll it was going to take on me. Like having to get out the door that much earlier, having this like consequential thing that if we don't get out on time, that we're not going to get there before the bell and then somebody's going to have to walk him in, or that he's going to have a tardy on his fucking thing, or that if he has a doctor's appointment, I got to do a form. Oh my God, the forms, the paperwork. It is literally, I'm swimming in paperwork up to my eyeballs for everything. Simply the act of trying to volunteer at my son's school has been like a Sisyphean, is that a word? Sisyphean task. And man, I feel like I am not winning. So it's just been a lot. It's been a huge transition. It's a huge change in the cadence of my day. I'm feeling so unproductive. It's hard to get things done when he's home earlier, but I also know it's not the best thing for him to stay for a longer school day right now. It's a lot. And I feel super, super depleted and tired and just kind of bummed out. So I'm trying to do as a bear would do, I guess more in winter than fall, but I'm a little bit hibernating right now. I'm getting my cozies on and I'm doing my best to try and just collect some energy where I cannot seem to fucking find it. So one of the listener questions was, how do I fill my cup? And right now, I don't know if I have like a super good answer for that, because I don't think I am filling my cup. I think there are the bare minimum things that I must do to keep myself healthy and safe, which is eat the right foods according to, what my Crohn's doctors and dietitians want me to be eating, and exercising regularly, similarly. And I am doing those things. But as I am realizing more and more, that is not filling my cup. That's just literally staying the fuck alive. So, we're now in this new era of figuring out how to fill my cup. And I feel like I'm going on a little bit of my own personal eat, pray, love. So I did a women's circle, like a month or so ago, where I sat around with a bunch of strangers and we all sort of shared our feelings and cried together, which was 100% not something I ever pegged for myself. And next week I have, with a similar group of people, a sound bath and meditation. I don't know, people. I mean, I'm just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. But the point is I think the first step in filling your cup is realizing that it's empty. And let me tell ya, the meter is on E, people. We are blinking. We need to find the gas station. So that is what I am trying to work on right now. And I don't entirely blame myself for this empty cup situation. This has just been a crazy period. In addition to the beginning of school, we had all 5,000 Jewish holidays. If you have a Jew in your life, ask them how they're holding up, because their kids haven't been in school. If they're in a Jewish preschool, they've been out of school, going to synagogue for various things, and they've probably been hosting or attending 5,000 dinners and other events with people that are in their community. So that in and of itself was exhausting. And I also have 2 kids' birthdays really back to back, basically, in this time. So went from hosting a wonderful meal for like 30 people at our house for Rosh Hashanah straight into my son's birthday. And guys, let me tell you, I have never been prouder of my guy. For the last 5 months, 6 months, we've been like, what theme do you want for your birthday party? We always do them in the backyard where we can. And he was like, I want a Christmas themed birthday party. Dead ass serious. And then we would check in with him and we'd be like, hey babe, what, are you still sure about that theme? And he's like, Christmas, for sure, lock it in. And after, they flip-flop, they change their mind, but he was pretty committed. So we're like, all right, I guess let's go. We're doing a Christmas themed birthday party. And when I tell you, this party took the house down. It was so many people, and I don't think I could ever do this many people in my backyard again. We brought the house down. It was both the easiest and most fun party to plan that I have ever done, because it was easy decisions, red and green, Christmas stuff. Oh, we're doing an activity. I guess the kids will decorate Christmas ornaments. Oh, we're going to have a special character show up. Obviously, it's going to be Kris Kringle himself, Santa Claus. Busted out some decorations, borrowed some others from neighbors, and let me tell you, it was such a blast, and the kids had the best time. He had the best time. And I just want to give a personal shout out to Santa Claus, who is in my phone as Santa Claus. I do not have any other name for him besides Kris Kringle. Santa is the man, okay? He showed up at the house. A kid immediately ran up to him and was like, you're not the real Santa. And he whipped out his sleigh driving license from the North Pole and was like, try me, B. He had it on lock. He read those kids the night before Christmas. The magic, his eyes were literally twinkling, incredible. He would not leave the house because he didn't want this kids to see him walking away. We had to make a diversion to make sure he could walk away safely so as to not break the illusion of Santa appearing and disappearing. The whole thing was absolutely magical and reminded me why I put myself through the mishigas of throwing a sort of birthday party epic rager for my kid every year. And let me tell you also, couldn't be prouder of my dude for figuring out, a little Jewish boy, how to game the system and get himself Christmas. I honestly hope he wants to do it every year because it was so much fun. Then after that, we do-si-do pretty much right into my daughter's birthday party for a 2-year-old. To be clear, 2-year-olds do not need birthday parties. They absolutely do not. If it brings you joy, do it. If it doesn't, don't. I mean, kids in general don't need birthday parties depending on the age. Like at some point they'll start asking. But my au pair, when I told her, Maria, God bless her, that I was not planning on doing a party, I thought she was going to cry. She was like, our baby is not going to get a birthday party. So fair enough. Fine. The big kid got one. The baby can have one too. And I said, all right, let's do it. Let's have a birthday party. And she's like, great, here's my spreadsheet. And she had worked out theme ideas, food ideas, guest list ideas. And again, just to see someone love my babies the way I love my babies, her excitement for giving this joyous occasion to my daughter was such a wonderful, affirming experience that reminded me something that I know, but I'm going to say again on here. Getting childcare and getting help for your kids does not reduce how much they love you. It brings more love into their life, into your life. And watching her help me plan this party was an incredible, incredible experience. So now we're on the other side. We've had all the Jewish holidays. We've had the birthday party. I am somehow figuring out, muddling my way through this transition into a new school year. Have not figured out exactly how to fill my cup other than hibernate yet, which I don't think is a long-term solution. I think I do need to be seeing my friends more. But one of the other questions that I was asked by another listener is, how do I think about making friends as a mom, making mom friends? And I have a lot of thoughts on this. So one is, do your friends, when you are a mom in your mom era, need to also be moms? And my answer is no. So take a stock take of who your friends are now and whether or not they have kids. And are they like kid friendly? Are they supportive and love you? Are they down to be an epic auntie or uncle to your kids? Because I've honestly found some of the people who have been there for me most vociferously in this chapter have been my friends who don't have kids yet or don't have kids at all. And it doesn't matter that they don't, because they're curious and excited for me and about this chapter. And like, that's kind of good enough. So that's the first thing I want to say is just because you are a mom doesn't mean that your friends have to be moms. That being said, there is value to having friends that are also parents. There's just like an exchange of knowledge, informal stuff like, well, where do I sign up for this? Or my baby doesn't like to eat this. How do I, figure this out? Whatever. Like there is value into having that peer community. But like if that isn't immediately inbuilt for you, there are apps like Augie. We had the founder Lily Walla on. There are other places where you can find community and that knowledge and information if it's not super straightforward for you in your own life to find who is going to be your community. Now, if you really are down to clown and like want to have a tight-knit mom group, there are different ways to do it. In LA, they have this thing, these like mommy and me classes, which I hate the name of, but that's what they're called, where people sign up and it's like a cohort group when your kids are babies and you grow with them and you become really close friends with these people. That's not a thing in New York, to my knowledge. Certainly not in the same way it is here, but I know a lot of people have made really close friends doing things like these mommy and me groups. Otherwise, for me, I feel like a lot of the quote mom friends I have made have been either in my neighborhood out walking with my kids and the dog and like just talking to people because I am insufferable. I love to talk to a stranger. But also at school, like when, my kids start preschool young. And so there are always events and opportunities and like social opportunities connected to the school that are just for parents. And I think those are wonderful opportunities to make new friends. Now, I would say making friends when you are a mom is kind of like a freshman year of college experience. Some of those people are going to stick with you and they're going to just be your soul people. And some of those people 4 years later, you're going to be like, what was I thinking? We have nothing in common. And both of those things are fine. Like just because you carried a child or adopted a child or otherwise have a child, that is not enough of a commonality to make a lifelong friendship. There have to be other things that you sort of jointly value and share. Just because your kid is on a team with another kid, like doesn't mean that these people are going to be your best friends for their whole life. It could, especially if those people are super fun and have a great sense of humor and totally get your weird shit that you're into, but like it doesn't have to. So just to say, I think it's a little bit trial and error how you make a mom friend, and there's no right way to do it. And the last thing I'll say is, just like in our relationships with our partners cannot be our everything. And similarly, like one friend, maybe they can, but I think that's like a really special, rare, unique thing, similar to how it is in a romantic relationship. Our friends can't necessarily be everything for us either. So maybe you have that soul sister that you can really confide in and share your deep, deep shit with. And, you know, they really see you and hear you and they're there for you. And then maybe you have your like silly friend that you just go do activities with. Or maybe you have your friend that like you just take your kids to the playground and pretend to talk to each other over the swings, but you can't because you're being interrupted every 5 minutes. Like, just allow yourself to have it all and try it all. For me personally, like, I've never been that I have one ride or die person that I'm talking to every day in my life. I have some friends who listen to this podcast who are that type of best friend for each other. And I am so insanely jealous of what they have because I think it's so beautiful. But I've never really had that level of deep, deep connection with just one person in my life. The flip side of that is I feel massively enriched because I have friends from so many different chapters who show up for me in so many different ways when I need them. So if you're feeling lonely, the short answer is there are loads of resources and like fun places for you to hang out on the internet while you are getting up to speed in real life, with, you know, joining activities and groups and stuff like that. And also don't force yourself to be friends with people just because they have a kid. All right, what's next? We talked about making friends. We talked about filling my cup and how I'm failing. And we talked about the birthday parties and the new school transition. Now I want to talk a little bit about cliches. So I find it so annoying that cliches often turn out to be exactly bang on, spot on. I want to be a unique, special little flower. I want my experience to be different and special, but you know what? Statistics don't lie. Cliches, unfortunately, don't lie either. A lot more of us will have similar experiences than we will have different, and that should actually feel empowering and make us feel less alone when we're having a hard time. So I have found the cliches about starting a big kids school to all be true. Just the amount of paperwork, the amount of like hustling to get your kids out of the door, the rush, the hurry up and wait, all of it. And nothing has come to fruition more for me in the cliche world than like the obsessive need to ask for volunteers all of the time. Listen, I couldn't be more community oriented. I give my time whenever and however I can. I give my money whenever and however I can. I feel deeply, deeply rooted to my community and the importance of being part of one. Absolutely. But when you test my executive functioning skills with 1 million emails a week, 1 million text messages, everybody's got a different QR code, Venmo, Zelle for asking me for $5 for something, in addition to asking me to volunteer 5,000 times for 5,000 different things. I have honestly found that, I think, to be the hardest part of this transition into school, is just constantly feeling inadequate, constantly worrying that I can't keep up with all of the different communications, and constantly worrying that in some way I'm going to drop the ball on something that actually really matters to my kid. I remember as a kid growing up, and both of my parents worked, and sometimes like they didn't get the memo on how to decorate the lockers right in high school, or that whatever, there was some special week at school and we were supposed to have costumes, and like mine would always be a phone in at the last second. And I always felt kind of shitty about it because I was like, oh, everybody else's shit is so cool, and like, look at mine. But what I didn't appreciate at the time is that like my parents, especially my mom, were grinding. Like they were barely holding it all together and they were doing the best they could. And so now I've put this completely unrealistic pressure on myself when I just received an email that my kid has to be in a different outfit for Spirit Week every day of the week next week. Like, bash my head in. I mean, now I've put everything in the calendar. I'm trying to use ChatGPT to help me process all of these emails and tell me what I need to do. But it is extremely overwhelming. And for the love of God, I wish there was a way to just make it all more efficient. Okay, so that's really like the cross I have to bear currently is just like the feelings of inadequacy and how I can't manage to get the work done that I need to get work done for my actual job. And also just like wanting to be there for my kid and make him feel loved and seen and like that I'm part of his community. It's a lot. Okay, I'm going to switch gears here for a minute. And I think some of you will appreciate this. So I was never a super fan of any sort of like music act growing up. I mean, I loved NSYNC. I loved Backstreet Boys, but I didn't choose. I loved the Spice Girls. I loved Britney Spears. I loved all the iconic pop culture moments of my youth. And also, I wasn't like a crazy super fan about it. I like went to the concerts if I was able to. I knew the words to the songs, but I wasn't like diving deep. I wasn't, my walls in my room weren't covered in posters and stuff. And I think it's like really sweet, especially, Taylor Swift has just come out with this new album. People are absolutely plotting over it. They're so excited for her, or they have thoughts about it, whatever it is. I really struggle to wrap my head around super fandom. Not in a way that I'm a hater. I'm not at all. It's more just like so foreign to my own experience. So I want people to write to me in the comments, on the Substack, whatever. I want to know, like, are you a super fan and why are we super fans? What does it give you? Because maybe I'm missing out. But now I live with a super fan. Our au pair is a hardcore Beiber, Justin Bieber fan. And she has been for literally most of her life because she's 24 and she's been a fan of his since she was like 11. And the way that she feels about Justin Bieber is the most pure and true and sweet thing I have ever seen in my life. Her room is covered in his posters. She feels and cares for him deeply as if he is a relative. She wants the best for him at all times. Like, just unbelievably sweet. She stays up and listens to his music at all hours when it comes out, when new albums come out. She cares about this man deeply. And to watch her inch ever closer, her dream while she's in the US is to like meet Justin Bieber in some way or be in the same space as him. And last week, doggone it, she achieved it. She not only got to be in the same space with him, but she was in the same space with him for a long time in a somewhat intimate setting. And he even brushed past her arm on the way out of the venue. She got to see him get in his car. All of these tiny little micro moments, watching her has been just, it's infectious joy watching this young person like achieve a literal fucking dream. And so now I'm wondering, is it too late in life to become a super fan? Because I think maybe I'm missing out. But there's too much canon to catch up on. I mean, I don't know who my person would be either. So besides Selena Gomez, Taylor Swift, and Justin Bieber, like, who are we super fanning over? Can you give me ideas and recs? Please send them to me in the DMs. It's been very sweet to watch. Okay. I think what I am going to wrap up on is just what we have going on in the next couple of weeks. We've got a number of different super interesting guests with a lot of different perspectives. And I think the real question that we're starting to ask ourselves here over on the pod is, what else could we do? I'm loving the pod, but how else can we get our voice out into the world? Do you work for a company that needs somebody to host an interesting conversation and make it a little bit candid and fresh? Do we have brands that we want to get on the pod for sponsored episodes? If you have an idea about how we can continue to grow our listenership, if you have people in your life who have incredible podcasts who are looking for somebody to come chop it up for an hour, like, I'm your girl. Basically, we're at a stage where we know what we're doing is great here because you all are telling me that it is meaning something to you. And so we're going to keep going. But I think we have to start thinking about how we're going to spread our little mother wings and go beyond and above. So help us get there. If you have ideas on where you'd like to see Mutha in your community, how you'd like us to engage, reach out. Let's build this thing together. So I hope everyone has a great rest of the week. Thank you for listening to me blather on for God knows how long. And I'm excited to see everyone back next week with an episode that is not solo. My idea is that I'm going to do like every 10 episodes, I'll do a solo pod. But who knows? If I don't have anything to say, I'm just going to shut the fuck up. Have a great day, guys. Love ya. Team, I need your help. If you love it here, please like and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Subscribe to the Substack for full access to this episode's show notes and join the discussion. And of course, follow me on Instagram at Mutha, MUTHA.life for a daily look at all things Mutha. Thanks for listening. Be sure to tune in next week for another Chat in the Closet. This podcast was produced by Mutha Life, music by Ronan Landa. See you next time.